When SaltEcrafter gets a craft kit, her first instinct is to show it off. And the first thing that comes to mind is what Rafiki does to Simba. And then naturally, the second instinct is to throw it in the trash. But before we do that, today we have a product from Kiss Naturals. This time it's a jelly soap. I have to tip my hat off to Kiss Naturals because they actually contacted me and they requested a salty review for this product because they were wondering whether or not they should keep it on shelves or get rid of it. So this is what we're doing today. We're going to be helping the company figure out if this is a product that is worth it, yay or nay. And they chose the saltiest of people to do it. Remember, if you want a shout out in my Friday video, don't forget to hashtag Nerdification Squad in the comment section below or hashtag Nerdecrafter on Instagram anytime with any of your creations. I am talking like that. So this kit is off the market at this time, but if we're looking at the actual trend of prices of their other kits, it should cost about $20 Canadian. So let's see what's inside, the actual cost of the materials in there, and see if value-wise it is worth it. Before we start unpacking anything, let me be absolutely honest. I have no idea what the heck jelly soap is. Am I that behind? If you don't know what jelly soap is, vote. Do you know what it is? I assume it's like soap, but jello texture. Here's what we get. 4 empty containers, 2 scents, Luscious Apple, and the other one is Tropical Sunset. I think I've seen Tropical Sunset before, and it smells like piña colada. Kind of like coconutty, pineapple-y deliciousness. And the Luscious Apple, ooh, oh, that smells yummy. I whiffed too much. It actually does smells like apples. I did notice something though. This is my third kit from Kiss Naturals, or was it fourth? And the first thing I noticed when I opened the box, another cracked cap. This is a bit of a worry because the other time I had a cracked cap, I was worried that the liquid could potentially escape and then make a whole mess inside the kit. This is the second time I have a cracked cap. By the way, try to say that 5 times fast. Yeah, you're gonna end up saying crap somehow. Nothing spilled, thankfully. We have it in blue for the colorant and pink. You could potentially make a purple as well. A liquid soap base. What is this? It looks like glow-in-the-dark powder. It smells like nothing. I have like marks under my nose. So agar algae extract. I'm not sure what that's for, but I'll trust them. And then we have mixing tools and a container. I'll say it's time to do me some calculations. Surprisingly, the value in this box is actually pretty high, about $8.99 Canadian. Mind you, I don't calculate these things, nor the packaging, nor the labor. So this more or less would cost you about that much if you were buying in the exact measurements. But we all know you always get more. So you do end up paying more, of course. To be fair, I really couldn't find the agar and algae mix. I did do the next best thing, which is a seaweed powder. Mind you, it doesn't have any kind of binding agents, so give or take, I would say 15-20 cents. All right, enough chatting, let's get to it. So here it is. I'm going to make about 1 more and then put them in the fridge for about 60 minutes as the instructions mentioned that I should do. I don't know why I got doubts for no reason here because I feel like it's going to take way more than 60 minutes, but it's what I'm here for. Poor me. What am I gonna do while I wait for an hour? Time for playing some Ragnarok. Yeah. So this is my character and his name is Salty, because why not? Oh, there's a mantis. It's gonna attack first. Let's get it! Ah yeah, some loot. And I'm salty. I'm salty. What a handsome little knight. As I mentioned, I don't think an hour is enough because I was kind of touching it to see if it's ready, and it's not because I have chunks still coming out. It does smell really nice though. It is pretty jelly, but I don't think it's the jelly soap that I watched videos on YouTube. They kind of really had this consistency of jello that really held itself as opposed to just very thick liquid hand soap. I'm gonna put it in the freezer for 15 to 20 more minutes and see if it does solidify just a little more.
1 hour later.
It is so not ready to be unmolded. I don't even know if it's supposed to be unmolded. They don't really mention. Oh, they do. In the things to try, they say add more agar to see if the jelly gets harder. But isn't the whole point of it to be jello-like? So it is holding itself, but not so much. Look at that. This is what we're getting, rather than a jello.
Bruh.
30 minutes later, and they don't say that you're supposed to leave this in the fridge. However, it is kind of a little liquidy. You could see some ruddy, soapy water thing over here. Yeah, not what I expected. And this one, I put 30 minutes more, but this time in the freezer. I'm really curious to see if it's going to be more jelly-like as opposed to pudding-like. Let's touch it. Let's touch it. Come on, let's touch it. Nope. Still very pudding. Smells good though. Alright mates, now for the last test. Let's bring it to the sink and see if it soaps. Why aren't you turning to jello? Time to find out. Is this kit worth it? And as always on SaltEcrafter, we're going to start with the cons because you like a lot of sodium. Non-doctor advice, make sure you check your blood pressure. And also comment with your favorite snack to dilute the salt from these videos. I think mine would have to be spaghetti. More salt. There's no diluting on SaltEcrafter. Alright, so the first con. This kit is advertised for 6 and plus. It really doesn't feel like it would be for 6-year-old and over, maybe 8 and over, just because there's so many components that go into it. For sure, you would have to sit down and supervise just because there are lots of components. The container gets really hot. That's why I'm going to give this as a second con to kind of segue into 6 and up. Because the container gets really hot, you have to be very careful that there are no burns because we are getting the water to boil. The seaweed agar mixture, well, the algae mixture, is actually really strong smelling as you're diluting it in the hot water. So if you find these kinds of seaweedy strong smells nauseating, you might experience that. The pink container, I don't know what's going on with that. When I put the water and put it into microwave, for some weird reason, the pink container's water boiled way sooner than the green container's water. It's probably just a different material, or maybe the plastic is thinner. I don't know, just that's something you should know because it'll boil over, and I totally didn't make a mess in my microwave. It can get a little pricey at $5 per jelly soap. So that's something that you should keep in mind. The tiny bottles are actually hard to squeeze, even for me and my sausage fingers. I was squeezing pretty hard, and some of them were a lot easier to squeeze, and then others, for some odd reason, needed me to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Pump some iron. I'm getting too excited. I was pretty suspicious when I opened this and didn't see any molds whatsoever. It's supposed to be a jelly soap, but the fact that we have containers told me that this was actually not going to be jelly. We couldn't unmold it, and that's going to be a later con. So let's just focus on the fact is, why no molds? I mean, it's supposed to be jello. Pop them out. Could be fun. Which leeways into the 8th con, and that one is 1 hour is not enough to jellify. If jellify is not a word,
What?
which segues into another con. Texture. We tried to jellify it. I put it in the fridge for an hour, and then I put it for about 20 minutes to half an hour. I kind of lost time. It may have been more because I was playing video games. And we still didn't get a jelly texture. It was more of a pudding texture. So no matter how long I left it to harden, we were getting a pudding. On their instructions, they have a section called Things to Try or something like that. They give you just enough to make 4 of them. If you're doing this with a friend, or if kids are doing it with their friends, there's no room to test them out, because if I wanted it to be very jello-y, that means I have to put more of the agar mixture. Does that mean it's going to remove one actual jelly soap mixture and make another one? That's what I'm trying to say. On the box, it shows a girl holding the soap and kind of just, rubbing it on top. I highly doubt you're going to be able to hold it because you saw how we were using it in the sink. It was just bad quality slime. The instructions, although they were clear, they were not for the main purpose of this kit. It's a jelly kit. Why did you give me instructions on a pudding version? Especially in the bottom where it says try different things, you say that we can add more agar to make it more jelly-like. That should have been the main instruction, that version. Why is there a broken cap? This is the third kit, could be fourth. Either way, the ratio of broken caps to non-broken caps happens too often for my liking. And finally, the last thing I noticed is that when I left it out for about 5 minutes, there started to be like this liquidy, residue on top. Maybe it's humidity, maybe whatnot, but I don't think that was supposed to happen. Time for the pros. In case you guys are wondering, I am reading from my Chromebook. I actually am using it quite a bit. It is one of those rare products that sponsors give you that are useful. The first pro, it is nicely packaged. I'm a huge sucker for things that are just neat and properly labeled because, why not? Unlike Craft City, we actually have some fun scents. I love smelling fruity because I like to think of myself as edible. It's not just salt that's edible. Fruits can be too. Although the instructions aren't for the jelly version, they are pretty clear and I really admire the little pictures. That I can't add to it. Just they're very clear and the measurements are pretty precise for the pudding version. Easy cleanup. I mean, you can't ask for easier cleanup than having to clean up soap because it washes your things at the same time as you're cleaning up. As you saw when I was doing the calculations, the box to content value is actually not that bad. Unlike some other kits where the actual box cost me $25 and the contents in there cost $3. This one's not so bad. It was $9 to $20. Remember, these are Canadian dollars, so it's much cheaper for American folk. I can't stress this enough. This is cruelty-free and natural products. Of course, there's a markup for that because you know that the source for this is pretty safe. It's a local company that is actually here in my hometown. So when they contacted me, they said that they actually really appreciate honest feedback. I was like, that's my people. Playability for this was actually pretty relaxing because we have all these different scents and different textures and we are using the microwave. It took about 20 minutes to make each pudding, but I didn't feel like I was rushed for time and it just felt like a relaxing activity. Lastly, it did feel like a DIY kit. It didn't just feel like I am putting colors together and then it's like voila. It really felt like I had to have precise measurements to be able to get these things working properly. There's room to have fun with the actual putting together of the different ingredients. Come here, let's give the score with Ryuji and then go back. I would give this kit a 4 on 10 dorks. Let's go back over there and tell you why. Even though there are a lot of pros, they do seem overshadowed by the fact that this was a pudding soap and not really a jelly soap. It feels like because they were trying to make it for kids, they didn't fully go all out to make the product as best as it could be. And I know that in the next few weeks, they are actually working on adult DIY kits, which I am super excited about. They actually told me that they're going to send them to me. How amazing is that? I get to review them and you guys get to see them because most of you guys are over 18, if I'm not mistaken. So because it felt like it was a compromise kit, they didn't fully benefit on the kids side and they didn't fully benefit on the older kids side. If they did have to ask me whether or not it is worth keeping on the shelf, my honest opinion is no, unless major fixing has been done. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to see a salty review, make sure you click up here. If you want to watch a crafting video, because these still come out every week, you're gonna have to click down here. And if you have other crafty kits that you want me to check out, leave them in the comment section below. I spent too much money on kits, guys. A lot of them are coming, so stay tuned.